friends, welcome back to the video series. So in this video I'm going to be talking to you about the best use of free formulas. I have several videos where I've talked about free formulas, how to get them, where to get them. If you can't find those videos or you haven't watched them, or if you just want a quick shortcut, you can subscribe below in the description box. And I have a free course that tells you where to get the best formulas for natural hair and where to get free formulas in general. Okay, and in this video I want to talk about the best use of free formulas. Okay, so in addition to experimenting and getting you out of the door, the best use of free formulas, in my opinion, in my experience from having taught myself to formulate, is understanding what goes into a ... being the product of your choice. So what goes into the making of a shampoo? What goes into the making of a conditioner? What goes into the making of a hair gel, of a pomade, of a twisting cream? You know, and the thing is that you'll also learn that things may not be phrased that way, but you will learn to figure out that this product could be used for that, or you will learn the tweaks. Okay, so this product is sort of a creamy base, and maybe a creme brulee is a combination of something that holds like a gel but something that moisturizes like a moisturizing cream. And so if I switched out these proportions and these ingredients, you know, I could create a creme brulee. So those are ideas that start to come to you, and you can only find those ideas by experimenting and by researching. And so the best way obviously is to be in your kitchen and doing this stuff, but you know, the second best way is to really just hyper analyze all these free formulas for the things that you want to create. Okay, really hyper analyze them before you even start buying ingredients. So that's a great way. Free formulas, just looking at formulas themselves, will give you great ideas for what are the proportions, okay, of the ingredients that are going into shampoos. What are the proportions for things that are creamy, for emulsions? What are the proportions for preservatives? What are the proportions for the more aqueous products like little sprays and whatnot? Okay, so you get a really good understanding for that. And then another thing you start to look at is the ingredients. What kind of ingredients are going in there? Not just the proportions, but what kind of ingredients and what is their function? Is this a thickener? Is this a conditioning agent? Is this multitasking, something like guar cat, that's both thickening and conditioning? You know, you start to figure out these things. You start to figure out natural alternatives to some of the more chemical agents. You start to use the skin deep scale to figure out, okay, is this a toxic thickener? What would be a more benign thickener that's more like a 0 to 1 on the scale as opposed to an 8 to 10? What would be a nice alternative to a polysorbate in my shampoo? You know, you start to look at things like that, and you can only do that by looking at the formulas. Okay, so it's the second best thing to having someone teaching you or having a book or some kind of guidance mechanism. And I'm going to talk about next two sites that are great for beginners, and I can't believe I'm giving this secret away for free on YouTube, but you know, it would have saved me a lot of time if I'd found those before I started, you know. But basically, making cosmetics, even though, you know, I'm not necessarily recommending their ethnic hair formulas, I will say I will recommend they have great articles. Great articles on what goes into making a shampoo, what goes into making a conditioner, what goes into making a lotion, and talk about breaking down the proportions. Now, they regularly switch out the info in their library, so it could be by the time you watch this video, if you watch it a year from the time I film it, or you know, even a few weeks, maybe they will remove those things. But generally they have great you know, a great library for understanding stuff like that. They also have a great YouTube channel, so you should find them on YouTube and see what you can learn. And another place that's great, that has great free articles that teach you the basics of formulating things is Ingredients to Die For, which also has great bases as well, by the way, for natural hair. But Ingredients to Die For has a nice little library, and that can be a nice way to look into how to formulate things as well. And for those of you that are making sort of more pristine products, Essential Wholesale has a nice video channel and a nice blog where you can learn how to make things. Mountain Rose Herbs has a nice blog for making really natural things. So these are all places you can go to learn how to formulate yourself. So you can't use the excuse, I'm not starting because, I can't afford, your book or the book you recommended that someone else wrote or whatever. I mean, there are always free ways to learn. You just have to ask yourself the question, do I really want to do this? How much do I love this? Do I wake up in the middle of the night thinking about this? If you're really passionate about this, you can move forward. There's no reason not to move forward, okay? So that is really why I'm making this video series. Is I really want to see a lot more, black women, women of color, and sometimes there are white women who are parents of children of color who have discovered that, this is a viable way for them to bring income into their family. Just, people of color, families of color, moving forward with this information and increasing that margin, and it's growing, of cottage industry brands, giving Lever Brothers and Procter and Gamble a run for their money. I hope that you'll be one of them, and I'd love to see you make it. All right, I'll see you in the next video.